Hello, everyone. Welcome to the FAA podcast. Sorry, a little late here, but I was trying to get everything done on a busy day with two spring leagues going on now. XFL week 9. We got those games to recap first, then we'll recap USFL week 1, season 2 games as well. A lot of football happening this weekend. It was great to see all the spring ball going on. So let's get right to it. Just me today, but so we'll probably speed through these things, just getting my analysis, and then we'll end up with our AFC West mock draft at the end of the show here. So Saturday, Roughnecks beating the Vipers. They clinched home field advantage in the South Division Championship. 28-21 over the Vipers there. Jalen McClendon was really good again for Vegas. 27 of 37, 73%, 249 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 carries, 41 yards, and a fumble. The fumbles were a big issue for Vegas. 2 defensive touchdowns for the Roughnecks really held them over and won the game, as you can see, by 7 points there. Brandon Silvers struggled most of the day, 16 of 27, 59.3%, 105 yards, 2 picks, and a 1-point conversion. Max Borghi led the game in rushing for the Roughnecks, 10 carries, 74 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 catches for 4 yards. John Lovett didn't have a good day on the ground necessarily. I mean, it was good. 9 carries, 46 yards, 5.1 average. So that's really good. And a touchdown. But his best work came in the passing game. 4 catches, 63 yards there. Really a dual threat back. Has Lovett been all this season, over 200 receiving yards, I believe, on the year. Geronimo Allison led the game in receiving for the Vipers, 6 catches, 60 yards on 7 targets. You had CQ Sweeting and Sean Price scoring the 2 touchdown passes from Jalen McClendon there. Defensively, I'm going to go with the 2 defensive touchdown guys, Ajene Harris and Tavante Beckett, corner and linebacker, respectively. 6 tackles, 5 solos, 1 forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and a 13-yard fumble return for a touchdown by Harris. Beckett, 6 tackles, 3 solos, a half a sack, and a 30-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Also want to mention Keelan Kennedy, corner for the Vipers there. 1 tackle. It was a solo tackle, and he had 2 picks off of Brandon Silvers, which was a solid day there. Roughnecks cover -6.5 by the hook, over 43.5 easily. Also on Saturday, we had the Brahmas staying in it, 25-23 over the Guardians. Brahmas need to win out and have Arlington lose out to make the playoffs. Jack Cohn, fantastic day for him, 25 of 31, 80.6%, 302 yards, and a touchdown. Quentin Dormady, the quarterback, struggled for Orlando, 9 of 17, 52.9%, 47 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. 4 carries, 10 yards, and a 2-point conversion. DeAndre Francois also played in this game for the Guardians, 3 of 5, 60%, 20 yards, and a touchdown. And then how about the punter? Mac Brown on the fake punt completed his pass for 69 yards. Crazy long gain for the punter. Great game for running back Devin Darrington for the Guardians. 16 carries, 133 yards, a touchdown, 1 catch for 1 yard. Jaquez Patrick had a great all-around day for San Antonio. 20 carries, 80 yards, 1 touchdown, a fumble, 5 catches, 50 yards on 7 targets, and a 1-point conversion. Also having a great day, over 100 yards, was San Antonio wide receiver Nick Hawley, 4 catches, 105 yards on 4 targets. Travis Toivonen scored for San Antonio. Andrew Jamiel for the Guardians, as well as Jordan Thomas. And defensively, got to go with the guy down there, San Antonio linebacker Drew Beasley, 4 tackles, 2 solos, 1.5 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, and a 20-yard pick 6 that he deflected to himself for a score. Brahmas -2, that pushed over 38.5. On Sunday, the best team in the XFL, DC Defenders, getting it done 28-26, that should say, in overtime over the Renegades. They had it in hand. It was 20-6, I believe, early in the second half. Third quarter was disastrous for DC. Couple interceptions, one by each quarterback. And the Renegades found a way to come back and tie it. Went to overtime. DC got the got two. Was it just one? Got the final 2-point conversion there. Arlington could not get theirs. That's how they won the game. Luis Perez for the Renegades, 31 of 41, 75.6%, 335 yards, a touchdown and a pick, 3 carries, 15 yards, and a 2-point conversion. Jordan Ta'amu continues to light it up in the passing game, 14 of 20, 70%, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 2 carries, 14 yards, and a 2-point conversion. And then De'Ara King also very good in this one, 6 of 9, 66.7%, 76 yards, a touchdown, a pick, and a 2-point conversion. Leading the game in rushing here, Arlington running back Davion Smith, 12 carries, 43 yards, 2 touchdowns for him. Good day there. Letty Brown also for Arlington, really good day in the receiving game. Caught 6 balls for 69 yards on 8 targets to go along with 8 carries for 31 yards. Renegades tight end Sal Canella led the game in receiving, 7 receptions, 92 yards on 10 targets. DC's Josh Hammond scored a touchdown, as did Arlington's Caleb Vander Esch. Lucky Jackson for DC continues his stellar performance. 2 scores on the day, 2 catches, 20 yards on 2 targets. Defensively, got to go with the guy that just signed a couple weeks ago, safety DJ Swearinger for the Defenders, 8 tackles, 7 solos, 62-yard pick 6. Renegades plus 10 easily cover that over 43. The Seattle Sea Dragons getting the win that they needed to stay in the hunt, 30-12 over the Battlehawks. So they also need a win and a St. Louis loss next week to get in. Ben DiNucci, 21 of 31, 67.7%, 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, another interception though. 7 carries, 38 yards, and a rushing score also. AJ McCarron returning for the Battlehawks in this one, 18 of 32, 56.3%, 186 yards, struggled there. 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Neither team could run the ball effectively outside of Ben DiNucci and the scrambling. Philip Lindsay leading the non-quarterbacks in rushing, 10 carries, 17 yards, 1 reception for 2 yards, a 1-point conversion and a 2-point conversion for the Sea Dragons running back. Ja'Cour Pearson, great day for him. Sea Dragons wide receiver having 7 catches, 115 yards, a touchdown on 8 targets. Battlehawks wide receiver Marcel Aitman, also a big day, 7 catches, 99 yards on 11 targets. And then Darius Shepard for the Battlehawks as well, 6 catches, 60 yards, a touchdown on 9 targets. Jordan Vesey also scoring for Seattle. TJ Hammond's really good running day for him, 2 catches, 3 yards on 2 targets, 7 carries, 59 yards, and a touchdown. Defensively, I'm going to go with Sea Dragons defensive back Bryce Thompson, 7 tackles, 5 solos, 2 tackles for loss, and a pick. Actually, his teammate Tarikius Tisdale also having a nice day, 2 tackles, both of them solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss for a guy that literally just signed last week. Sea Dragons plus 3.5. They win outright under 46. And the USFL week 1, great effort here. Unfortunately, my Memphis Showboats going down in a close one. The Stars getting the win 27-23 over the Memphis Showboats, Philadelphia Stars, I should say. Case Cook is returning from injury from last season. Didn't miss a beat. 20 of 29, 69%, 212 yards, 3 touchdowns, 124.5 QBR, 7 carries, 31 yards. Brady White, decent, but not the greatest. 16 of 29, 55.2%, 182 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 4 carries for 29 yards. Cole Kelly also playing a little bit in this game for the Showboats, 2 of 5 passing, 40%, 16 yards. Really good day on the ground for Alex Collins. Memphis Showboats running back, 14 carries, 63 yards, a touchdown, 5 catches, 25 yards on 9 targets. Matt Colburn for the Stars, he had a receiving touchdown, 5 carries, 30 yards on the ground, 2 catches, 14 yards in that touchdown. And then Dexter Williams for Philly also rushing touchdown for him, though 9 carries, 11 yards, not good, but he did score. Also caught 1 ball for 3 yards. Leading the way in receiving, Stars wide receiver Devin Gray, 7 catches, 77 yards, a touchdown on 9 targets. Rashard Davis, Ryan McDaniel also scoring for the Showboats, and then Chris Rowland scoring a touchdown for Philly. Defensively, got to go with Showboats linebacker Greg Reeves, 4 tackles, all of them solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. The Stars minus 2.5 covered, over 38.5. The Birmingham Stallions started their title defense with a big win over the New Jersey Generals, 27-10. Jamar Smith, 10 of 15, 66.7%, 160 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Not the greatest, but not terrible for the opening week. Dakota Prukop, how about this for the Generals? 13 of 17, 76.5%, 148 yards, 4 carries, 12 yards, a touchdown, and a fumble. Alex Magoo, he did a lot better, I think, than Jamar Smith. 7 of 11, 63.6%, 68 yards, a touchdown, 6 carries, 51 yards, and a rushing touchdown as well. So 2 scores for him. They were close. But Magoo seemed like the better player in this one than Jamar. DeAndre Johnson did not have a good day for New Jersey. 4 of 13, 30.8%, 29 yards, 7 carries for 45 yards. Generals running back Darius Victor had a great day on the ground, though. 8 carries, 89 yards to lead the game in rushing. Birmingham tight end Jace Sternberger leading the game in receiving. 5 catches, 62 yards, a touchdown on 5 targets. Wide receiver Austin Watkins also having a 61-yard touchdown reception on his only target for the Stallions. Defensively, I'm going to go with the bottom guy there. Stallions defensive end, Dondre Tillman, 4 tackles, 1 solo, a half a sack, 2 pass deflections. Stallions cover minus 5.5 easily, under 39.5. And on Sunday, we had the Michigan Panthers crushing the Houston Gamblers, 29-13. Josh Love, fantastic, set the USFL single game accuracy record there, 18 of 20%, 18 of 20, 90% completion, 215 yards, 3 touchdowns. Just an absolute fantastic day for Josh Love. Carson Strong also playing well for the Panthers, completed all 5 of his passes for 34 yards. Kenji Bahar struggled for Houston, 13 of 22, 59.1%, 109 yards, 2 picks, 2 carries, 16 yards, and a fumble. Michigan running back Stevie Scott led the game in rushing, 12 carries, 61 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 catch for 13 yards. Gamblers running back TJ Pledger, he had a good day, 16 carries, 41 yards. Not a good average, but he did score 2 touchdowns on the ground, 2 catches, 10 yards on 5 targets. Panthers wide receiver Joe Walker, good day for him, over 100 yards in his first appearance this season, 6 catches, 105 yards, a touchdown on 7 targets. Did have a fumble, though, and missed his only throw that he attempted on a trick play. Trey Quinn, Marcus Ball, wide receiver and tight end for Michigan, both scoring touchdowns in this one. And then how about Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson in attendance for this game? His son, tight end Josh Peterson of the Gamblers there, 2 catches, 23 yards on 3 targets. Defensively, had to be the former Chiefs second-round pick defensive end Breeland Speaks for the Panthers. Panthers pass rush was good all day, especially Speaks, though. 7 tackles, 4 solos, 3 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and a forced fumble. And Josh Love, by the way, winning USFL Offensive Player of the Week at that. Panthers, +1. They went outright like I told y'all they would, over 38.5. And finally, the New Orleans Breakers getting to 1-0 on the year, beating the Pittsburgh Maulers 22-15. A lot better were the Pittsburgh Maulers this game, than we saw last year. McLeod Bethel Thompson, however, coming down from the CFL to New Orleans, 23 of 41, 56.1%, 302 yards, a touchdown, 4 carries, 16 yards. He was electric. James Morgan and Troy Williams getting playing time for Pittsburgh here. Not very good on either front. Morgan, 6 of 15, 40%, 58 yards. Williams, 4 of 12, 33.3%, 23 yards. Anthony Jones led the game in rushing for the Breakers, 19 carries, 46 yards, a fumble, 6 catches, 29 yards, and the game-winning receiving touchdown on 8 targets. Breakers tight end Sage Surratt led the game in receiving, 5 catches, 85 yards on 9 targets. Maulers wide receiver Isaiah Henney having 4 targets, no catches, but he did have an 82-yard punt return touchdown that actually gave the Maulers a 15 point, or tied the game for the Maulers in the fourth quarter at 15. And defensively, linebackers Reuben Foster and Kiava Tizino have to go with those 2 guys. I mean, the whole Maulers defense. Reuben Foster plays for the Maulers. I put that one in there wrong. But 12 tackles, 9 solos, and a forced fumble for Foster. Tizino, 6 tackles, 3 solos, a fumble recovered for a touchdown in the end zone. And then how about defensive lineman Olive Sagapolu there for the Maulers? 2 tackles, both of them solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. The Breakers, -4.5. They cover that under 37.5 by the hook. And XFL news. We're starting off on couple somber notes here. Want to pass along the passing of Seattle Sea Dragons defensive end Chris Smith, also played in the NFL with the Cleveland Browns, and I think a couple of other teams as well. I don't know how it happened, but sad to see that occur there. Yesterday, I think it was, or maybe it was today. But Chris Smith will be missed dearly there in Seattle and wherever else he played and is from. USFL news, also another bad note here. Stallions wide receiver Marlon Williams, he has a torn Achilles, out for the season there. Not good news for the defending champs. Got to find someone else to go to in the passing game. College football news. Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian, he has named Quinn Ewers the starting quarterback for the Longhorns coming season, beating out Arch Manning and I can't remember the other guy that was in the running there for Texas. Transfer portal, it opened on Saturday, goes till the end of the month, so 2 weeks here to get in and get out of the transfer portal for guys going into the transfer portal. Kentucky wide receiver Keelan Robinson, I believe that is Wandale Robinson's brother. Colorado corner Nico Reed, Georgia defensive tackle Bear Alexander. That one was shocking a little bit. He was going to play a big part in that Georgia D line this year. Also, that news coming on Saturday, I believe, on Georgia's G-Day spring game, which was weird as well. UNLV quarterback Harrison Bailey, Eastern Michigan wide receiver Darius Lassiter, and then North Texas tight end Varquise Gums. He has a visit scheduled with Arkansas. And then one commitment to note, Minnesota defensive lineman Trill Carter has found a home with the Texas Longhorns there. NFL news. Let's start off with a trade. We had a trade today happen, and it's a good one. The Pittsburgh Steelers acquiring wide receiver Allen Robinson and a 2023 7th-round pick, number 251 overall from the LA Rams for a 2023 7th-round pick, number 234 overall. It's a late pick swap. The Rams eating salary in this one, $10.25 million is LA paying for Robinson. Steelers paying just $5 million for him. So a bargain deal for Pittsburgh as the LA tries to clear cap space. And very excited, low cost addition for Pittsburgh, and could pay big dividends for GM Omar Khan and head coach Mike Tomlin there. So I'm excited to see what Robinson can do with all the other playmakers that Pittsburgh already has on offense. The Cardinals safety Budda Baker, he has requested a trade, so not sure. It doesn't seem like the Cardinals are willing to entertain offers for him at this point, but he said he requested it in February, and he either wants to be traded or paid a high salary like he is worth, which definitely worth it. Budda Baker, one of the best safeties in the league for sure. And how about this story? Bills safety DeMar Hamlin cleared by 3 different specialists to resume full activity. He planned all along to return to football, and he will be doing it shortly here whenever Buffalo opens its OTAs and mini camp. Draft visits, we're still monitoring those as we approach 1 week till the draft. This coming Thursday is 1 week. So how about the first thing here? Alabama quarterback Bryce Young, he canceled his final draft visits that included with Indianapolis. And so he visited with the Panthers, Texans, and Raiders, I believe, were the only 3 that he went to there. So it's interesting. Probably knows that he's going to go 1 or 2. So not worth going through all that trouble with other teams. Ravens, they hosted Boston College wide receiver Zay Flowers. The Lions hosting Georgia defensive tackle Jalen Carter and Illinois corner Dartavius Martin. Seahawks, Raiders, and Bears and Falcons all hosting Georgia defensive tackle Jalen Carter. The Eagles hosting Georgia defensive tackle Jalen Carter and Ohio State offensive tackle Paris Johnson Jr. The Giants hosting Penn State corner Joey Porter Jr. Interestingly enough, Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker and Illinois corner Jartavius Martin. The Jets and Cardinals hosting Ohio State offensive tackle Paris Johnson Jr. And then the Commanders, Titans, Saints, Colts, Seahawks, Packers, Bills, and Buccaneers all hosting Illinois corner Jartavius Martin. Re-signings here. How about the big one first? The Eagles have got a deal done. They signed quarterback Jalen Hurts to a 5-year, $255 million extension, $179.304 million guaranteed. He gets $110 million fully guaranteed at signing, $126.5 million fully guaranteed after the second year. And it comes with a full no trade clause. That is the first in Eagles history. So Jalen making Eagles history here. Very excited. I think he is the guy. He's a winner. That's what he's done his whole career and life. So I'm excited to have Jalen in the building. He's the franchise guy. And now the way that he structured it, it allows Philly to keep the core together and gives them flexibility, keeping his cap numbers relatively low in terms of quarterback salary anyways, to help them advance and continue to build that roster. The Bears, they re-signed wide receiver Dante Pettis to a 1-year deal. Good return value there. Bills re-signing linebacker AJ Klein to a 1-year deal. Special teamer, also good depth at inside linebacker off ball. Chargers, they re-signed wide receiver Jalen Guyton, one of the better deep ball guys that Justin Herbert has. And then the Jets today re-signing offensive tackle Cedric Ogbuehi, trying to keep offensive linemen in the building and protect whoever is the quarterback there in New York. The couple signings here, Dolphins, they signed Cardinals wide receiver Chosen Anderson to a 1-year deal. Good luck. It didn't work out in Carolina, didn't work out in Arizona, so I don't know. Speaking of the Cardinals, they signed Texans quarterback Jeff Driscoll to a 1-year deal, getting some backup value there for Kyler Murray and Colt McCoy. The Vikings, they got some corner help, signing Patriots corner Jawan Williams, so good depth there. And the Chiefs, they have Patrick Mahomes backup after Ted Henne retired. They signed Buccaneers quarterback Blaine Gabbert to be the backup to Mr. Mahomes there in KC. And we're going to talk about his team right now, actually. So AFC West, that should say AFC West, my bad. AFC West mock draft here. We have the Las Vegas Raiders picking 7th, 38th, 70th, and 100th. That 100th is a compensatory selection. Originally, the Chiefs traded to the Giants in the Kadarius Toney trade, and then traded to Vegas in the Darren Waller trade. Chargers getting drafting 21st, 54th, and 85th. Chiefs 31st, 63rd, and 95th. And then the Broncos getting 67 from the Colts last year when they traded up for safety Nick Cross out of Maryland. And then they had their own third-round selection, 68th overall. Obviously, the first and second-round picks going to Seattle as a part of the Russell Wilson deal. So let's get to the mock sim here, Pro Football Network, because we don't know if Pro Football Focus has their thing fixed yet or not. So let's go here. Panthers drafting Bryce Young #1 overall, as they should. Texans going CJ Stroud at 2. Cardinals, Will Anderson Jr. at 3. Colts going Anthony Richardson at 4. So status quo, really. Tyree Wilson at 5 for the Seahawks. Lions going Christian Gonzalez. So the Raiders have an offer here, and I like it. The Falcons want to move up one spot. Is it for Will Levis? Maybe. But I think it's worth the risk. Going back one spot, we pick up a third-round pick, number 75 overall. I think it's worth it. You have Jimmy Garoppolo signed to a 3-year deal. So you're not desperate for a quarterback here. And the Falcons, they pick Paris Johnson Jr. So that's fine. We are still in. We can still take the quarterback if we want. I don't think we need to. It's if we want to. And I will. I am going to pick him. I don't like this trade offer from the Saints, 29, 40, 71, 257, and Denver's second next year. Don't like that. That's too far back. So is the Cowboys, 26, 58, 90, and their second next year. This one is interesting, 28th. Jonah Williams, and a second next year. I would consider that one. But I think with how high up the Raiders are this year, I want to get the guy of the future. We already picked up that third round pick from the Falcons, and I want to go ahead and get the guy of the future. The offensive tackles are okay. Colton Miller, Jermaine Illuminor, and Brandon Parker. So it's not terrible. And, we don't know what Jonah Williams is going to look like anyways, kind of being a bust at this point as a first round pick. So going to reject that one and let's go with Will Levis. I think I don't really like him that much. Struggled with accuracy last year, turnovers abound, kind of a gunslinger, has a cannon arm, can move, just got to figure out that accuracy. And, if he can get that down, that will eliminate some of the turnovers, I think, by itself, and really provide you a good option in Vegas there once he takes over. And with Jimmy Garoppolo there, you can kind of sit him for 2 years, maybe. Who knows? Broderick Jones to the Bears, Miles Murphy to the Eagles. I like that. Jalen Carter slips out of the top 10. Jalen, I don't know what to say. You didn't visit with the Titans because they were not in the top 10. The Giants trading up from 25. Wow. 25 and Saquon Barkley, that would never happen. For Devon Witherspoon. That's ridiculous. How about the Vikings? Another running back on the move, 23, and Dalvin Cook for number 13 and getting Jackson Smith and Jigba. Bijan Robinson to the Patriots. We're going all crazy this draft here. Brian Bracey, Cowboys trading 26, 58, and 90 for number 15. The Commanders go Joey Porter Jr., Jordan Addison to the Steelers. That's weird. Brian Branch to the Lions. And the Bucks are on the clock, but I am intrigued here. Mr. Skoronski is still on the board. And I think the Chargers have a good offensive line, actually. I think they're okay. So we're gonna let it roll. The Bucks drafting Cam Smith, Seahawks going Peter Skoronski. Now the Bucks, wow, 50 and Mike Evans for 21st and 200. Now Mike Evans would be absolutely fantastic in this offense. That's considerable. And how about this one? How about the Browns offering 74-98 Nick Chubb and a second next year for 21 and 200? Yeah. I don't know. I think we gotta do something different there. Probably draft the running back next year if we can't trade Austin Eckler. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually, you know what? I'm gonna decline the Mike Evans one because I think the Chargers, while they do need receiver help, I think the defense needs more help. And I'm gonna accept this one. Getting Nick Chubb. No, I'm going to reject it, actually. I'm going to stick here. I'm going to stay. So what do the Chargers need on defense? They probably need some edge rush help. Joey Bosa cannot do it all himself. Khalil Mack hasn't been the same, really, since he came over. They could use a tight end as well. Gerald Everett on the last year of his deal, I believe. But I'm going to go Nolan Smith. I think he is just rolling up draft boards here. So I'm going to go Nolan Smith to help out that pass rush. Fits in that 3-4 scheme that Brandon Staley likes to run in LA. And I think that's a great selection if Tom Telesco and them can get it done there for the Chargers. Isaiah Foskey to the Ravens there. Lucas Van Ness to the Jets. Jaguars on the clock. Deontay Banks. Texans going Dalton Kincaid. Quentin Johnston for the Packers. So they trade back, get picks, and get Quentin Johnston. Good move there. Keely Ringo for the Bills. Bengals going Kalijah Cansey. Saints, Darnell Wright. Hoping that was there for the Chiefs, but Michael Mayer to the Eagles. I don't like that. But the Chiefs now on the clock here. We have an offer from Baltimore. 86, 124, second round and a third round next year, and Rashad Bateman for 31 at 178. I don't really like that. They do need a wide receiver, right? But I don't think Bateman is the right one. It's a lot of picks. And I mean, to go back 55 spots as well, it's a lot. And I think it's worth considering, but I don't think that's the trade for us. To go back 5 picks now, this is intriguing. I do kind of like that, picking up a third round pick, giving away a fourth rounder, 77 for 134. And I would consider that. Let's just see what the other offer is from the Patriots. Now that's going and picking up a fourth rounder, 107, and a second rounder next year for a fourth rounder, 134. I'm going to reject that one. I'm going to accept the Rams. So, we do have a couple guys here that we have about 5 guys, 5 guys that I would say fit here. Jalen Hyatt is a possibility. Anton Harrison, I like that. Zay Flowers, DeJuan Jones. I like all 4 of those guys. As well as BJ Ojulari. I think that is another good one. Josh Downs is a fit. Darnell Washington, you don't really need, but that would be a great luxury pick. So there's definitely a lot of guys that I like here. Picking up the extra third rounder from LA makes sense. And LA comes into the first round to pick Jalen Hyatt. So that's okay. That's perfectly fine. DeJuan Jones goes to the Steelers. BJ Ojulari to the Texans. Cardinals go Zay Flowers. And the Colts go Trenton Simpson. So the Titans want us to move back 5 spots, 41 and a third next year. And the Patriots offering 46 and 76. I'm going to reject both of those. The Chiefs still need a right tackle. They moved Jawan Taylor to left. I don't think that's a great move. So I think we're going to draft Anton Harrison. He's going to play left. We're going to move Jawan back to the right side, have Lucas Niang be the swing tackle. And I think that's a great line there with the interior that they already have of Tooney, Humphrey, and Smith. So give me Anton Harrison to KC in the second round with a trade back. So we're back on the clock with the Raiders. Seahawks drafting Osiris Torrance. Now the Raiders here, we got our guy, Will Levis, traded back 1 spot, picked up a third. And now the Giants want to give us Adoree Jackson and 57 for 38 and 214. While the Raiders do need a lot of secondary help, I don't necessarily think that's the guy, but let me see what corners are even available because a lot of them just got picked. So we have 70. And I think that's a sweet spot for where you can get these guys, Tyreek Stevenson, Julius Brents, Eli Ricks, Blue Kelly, get those kind of guys. So while it is an intriguing offer by the Giants, I'm going to reject it. That's too many spots to move down in the draft, and we need a lot of help, especially at the linebacker and secondary spot. We also need some help at offensive line, on the right side specifically. So I am going to go and reject that one. Ravens offering us 86, a second rounder next year, and Rashad Bateman for 38 and 231. I just don't see why that we would do that. We already signed some guys in free agency. Jacoby Myers coming over to be the number 2. And we already signed tight ends. So I don't think that's a viable option either. I think right here, this is a great spot that we can go with Mozzie Smith. I think he would be a good fit in that interior. And actually, no, we're gonna go Drew Sanders. I think Drew Sanders, we need some linebacker. The linebackers are not very good at all for Vegas. So Drew Sanders, fantastic pick here. Sideline to sideline guy, could be a possible first round pick in the real life draft. So I like Drew Sanders for Vegas here. Darnell Washington to the Panthers. Absolutely love that. Josh Downs to the Saints. Titans going Clark Phillips. John Michael Schmitz for the Jets. Jets back-to-back go Blake Freeland. Offensive line galore there. Will McDonald for the Falcons. Felix Anudike-Uzomah for the Packers. Tuli Tuipulotu for New England. Domir Gibbs for the Commanders. Cedric Tillman for the Lions. Mozzie Smith to the Steelers. I love that. Adetomiwa Adebawore for the Bucks. Jack Campbell to the Dolphins. And I just wanted to check where we're at here. Okay, I don't think the Broncos need it. But where are we at with Kansas City? So Kansas City's got 63, right? There's a guy, Keon White here, that would be an excellent pick right now. And I think that we got Anton Harrison. I think solidifying the pass rush would be another option here for the Chiefs. They signed Charles Omenihu, but they really don't have a lot of depth at defensive end. So I think let's go up for Keon White here. It's gonna cost us quite a bit. I think possibly we'll see 63-52, obviously, on the board to go up 11 spots. I think if we can give them 166, 122 for 237. I think that should be perfectly fine. Okay. Yes, they don't want our 4th round pick. Let's try this again. 63-52, 122, and just leave it at that. Okay. Guess not. Guess the Seahawks really want Keon White, huh? 90. If I'm giving you 95, though, right, I need something back in return. I need 154. Okay, so we got that. Probably a little bit more than I wanted to pay for Keon White, but it's a premium position, edge rusher. I think Keon White's a good developmental guy that doesn't need to start right away, but can be in your situational pass rush package and then evolve with some good teachers there. Charles Omenihu, Chris Jones at defensive tackle as well. So Keon White to the Chiefs at 52, Bears at 53, Zach Charbonnet. We are back on the clock with LA here. So LA, we picked Nolan Smith in the 1st round. Eagles on the phone for us, 62 and 4th next year. Okay, 76 and a 2nd next year from New England for 54 and 156. That's a little bit too far. Moving back 8 spots here. The thing with where we're at right here is Luke Musgrave is sitting there just eyeing me. And I would love to get Siaki Ika as well, Cody Mock available, Emmanuel Forbes, but I think I gotta stick here and take the tight end that would really help this offense. So give me Luke Musgrave for LA. Siaki Ika goes the next pick to the Lions. Noah Sewell for the Jags. Giants going Steve Avila. Packers, Tucker Kraft. Bills getting Ivan Pace Jr. Bengals hitting DJ Turner. Bears going Rashee Rice. Eagles going Emmanuel Forbes. Love that. Seahawks in their trade down going Trey Palmer. Andre Carter for the Bears. Texans going Javon Dexter. Cardinals getting Devin Achane. And we are finally on the clock with the Denver Broncos. The Jags want to give us 88 in their third next year for 67. And Albert O. I mean, we really don't need Albert O, kind of. We did draft Greg Dulcich last year. I don't really like that, though. The Panthers giving 93 and 114. That's out of the question. Yeah, I just don't like that one. So I think the Broncos could, based off who is on the board here, I think the edge rush would need it here, probably. Maybe not. The wide receiver could be something. Keanu Benton. They really did a good job in free agency of signing guys. So I really don't think there's that many holes. Corner is one of them, though. So I might look to see corner and the offensive line, but even that is not terrible. So I'm gonna see. We got Tyreek Stevenson here, and I think that's got to be the pick. I think with this offer, I just don't like the lack of depth that we'd have at tight end without Alberto. So and to move down that far, but let's go reject that one. Let's draft Tyreek Stevenson here for Denver. Now we're back on the clock at 68. The Niners won it 99-101 and a fourth next year for 68 and 195. The Rams, I'm taking that. Decline this one. Obviously, you pick up 2 third-rounders and a fourth next year, but it's so far down the board. And this one, we're picking up a 7th-round pick and moving back 1 spot. I like that option. So the Rams move up 1 spot to draft Cody Mock. Now the Panthers are giving us 93, 132 and a third next year for 69 and 139. Again, it's a little too far down the board for what I am looking for. I might go back-to-back corners because Julius Brents, Eli Ricks, both there. But I also think that the edge depth could be helped possibly. Safety. Yeah, I think the interior defensive line needs some depth. So I'm gonna go with Keanu Benton. I think he's a little bit of 309. That's a little big for a 3-4 defensive end. A little bigger than I'd like at probably around that 285, 295 range. But I think he can get it done. Got to go defense, I think, anyways, for the Broncos. I think even though their offense was terrible last year, the hope is that you get a healthy Russ, and I just don't think that many of these offensive players would help, especially with the guys that they have still there in Judy Sutton, Patrick, and Hamler, as well as Marquez Callaway, who they signed. You hope that Sean Payton really upticks the offense there. So I'm going to go defense, Keanu Benton for the Broncos to help that interior defensive line depth. Back on the clock with the Raiders at 70. The Bengals offering 92 and a third. Don't like that. It's way too far down the board for me. So we got Will Levis, Drew Sanders. I really like those two selections for Vegas. Now, what do we have on the board here? We have JL Skinner is available. We also have offensive line. So Jalen Duncan. It sucks that we drafted Will Levis because we do have Hendon Hooker available here. That's just how it goes. So I like Jalen Duncan here, Sidney Brown as well. The corners could use some help, but I think the offensive line with Jalen Duncan would be the move here to put him at right tackle. And that's where I'm going to go to help protect Jimmy G and Will Levis. So the Saints going Derek Hall, Titans. There's Hendon Hooker off the board. Joe Tippmann for the Texans. Browns selecting Kayshon Boutte. We are back on with the Raiders. Ravens offering 86 and 124. I don't like that. 88 and a third next year for 75 and 174. I don't like that. So let's help our secondary here. We have a boatload of players available to select. I am going to go with Julius Brents. I think he is a fantastic nickel safety or nickel corner that can provide you with some help there. 6'2", 198, very quick speed, and like I said, a good nickel corner that'll help you there. Patriots going Jalen Jones. We are back on the clock with the Chiefs. 77 and a fifth for 107, a third, and a fourth. All those other picks next year. Don't like that. That's 30 spots down. Not me. 11 spots down for a fifth next year. Again, I don't feel comfortable with that many spots down the board. Now we do got to mention what do we have on the board. Anton Harrison and Keon White already. Marvin Mims is sitting there, and I think that is who I'd like to go with. 5'10", 183. The Chiefs really don't have a lot of size on the outside. I think their safeties are pretty good for right now anyways. And of course, we already got our offensive lineman, so Warren McClendon is not in play here necessarily. Linebackers are pretty solid, so I am looking at Marvin Mims Jr. here, get help on the offense and provide a spark there. Guy that Mahomes will love throwing deep to. JL Skinner for the Packers. Colts going Jordan Battle. Could see a safety run here. Sam Laporta to the Steelers. Cameron Latu to the Lions. Oh, it's tight end run apparently. And there's safeties again. Antonio Johnson to the Bucks. Seahawks go Eli Ricks. Dolphins going Tyler Steen. Commanders offering us 97 and a fourth next year for 85 and 239. Interesting. Jags offering us 88 and a fifth next year for 85 and 239. I think I'm inclined to take that one. Takes a pick off the board for us this year. But we already got Nolan Smith, Luke Musgrave to move back 3 spots, pick up a fifth next year, sending a seventh this year. I think that's fine. The Chargers could use some safety help. I think other than Derwin James, Alohi Gilman, there's not a lot after that. So Sidney Brown would be fantastic. But Brandon Joseph is also there. So moving back 3 selections, I think that's a fine offer. And the Jags do pick Brandon Joseph, A.T. Perry for the Ravens, and the Vikings go Henry 2020. We're not moving back that far, Washington. Sorry. Neither. Well, actually, that would be interesting. 89 and a fourth next year from the Giants for 88 and 156. I like it. Let's keep moving back. We're stockpiling picks next year instead. But the prayer is that they don't select Sidney Brown. Which they select Tank Bigsby. Washington, again, we're not moving back that far. Definitely not getting Tennessee's offer 147, 186 and a third next year for 89 and a seventh next year. No chance that's happening. So here we are. Sidney Brown is the guy I'm going with. Love that. We got, like I mentioned, Nolan Smith and Luke Musgrave. I think those are solid selections. The inside linebackers are good because they signed Eric Kendrick. So Owen Papo, I don't think they really need right now. And the corners are decent, but I think we need Sidney Brown to push Alohi Gilman there at free safety. So I'm going to go with Sidney Brown. Packers. Going Owen Papo, Tyler Scott to the Bills, Warren McClendon for the Bengals, Zach Evans to the Panthers, Chase Brown to the Eagles. I love that. Seahawks going Kendre Miller. We got a running back run here. Q Blue Kelly for the Cardinals. Commanders going Deion Henley. Browns getting Zach Harrison. Niners selecting Christopher Smith. And San Francisco will trade back. Not going back 20 spots. Pittsburgh. We'll pick up a 7th round pick to move back 1 spot. Why not? Because I don't really think there's anyone we really need here with the Raiders at 100. We got Will Levis, Drew Sanders, Jalen Duncan, and Julius Brents. There's some other guys that we can get here. Probably going to double up on corner, I think, unless there's a safety available, which I'll have to see. There really isn't. So probably ending up doubling up on corners here. But I'm perfectly fine with picking up a 7th and moving back a spot. Jartavius Martin for the Niners. Sorry, Pittsburgh, we're not moving back that far. And here, we have Andre James, who they really like. Ronas Grasu is the backup center. Luke Whippler would be an option, I think, anyways. We got Jalen Duncan to play the right tackle spot. There aren't really any guards available at this point. So, and Matthew Bergeron would be fantastic, but I'm not going to go offensive line. I think D-line here is where I'm going to go. We do have a Darius Rush available. But I think Zach Pickens is a solid option for that D-line there behind Jerry Tillery, Bilal Nichols. They, could use some help there, I think, anyways. Maybe we don't go there, and maybe we go back-to-back linebackers. DeMarvion Overshown is here. So, maybe not. Let's actually just go Whippler. I think it's fine. We need all the offensive line help we can get. Xavier Hutchinson's in play, but again, the wide receivers are really good. So sure, let's draft another offensive lineman. Let's go Luke Whippler here and move Andre James to guard or Whippler to guard. And the 49ers, we will not see their pick till we go to this here. 49ers drafting Matthew Bergeron at 102. So, with the Raiders being the first pick here that we had, Will Levis traded back one spot, got picked up number 75 in the process. Drew Sanders at 38, Jalen Duncan at 70th, Julius Brents at 75th, which was the pick we got from the Falcons. And then we traded back one more spot with the Niners to get Luke Whippler at 101, picking up number 255 in the 7th round. The Chargers were the next team up. Nolan Smith at 21, Luke Musgrave at 54. And then we did a pick. We moved a pick back here, 89th. And the Giants' 4th round selection next year for 88 and 156. So we picked up the Giants' 4th round pick and the Jaguars' 5th round pick in consecutive trade backs there for that pick to get Sidney Brown at 89. Chiefs were the next one here. We traded 3 times with the Chiefs. Anton Harrison, we traded back with the Rams. They got 31 and 134 for 36 and 77. And then at 52, we traded up with the Seahawks, 52 and 154 for 63 and 95. So we drafted Keon White there in the 2nd round. And then the 3rd round, this 77th pick that we got from the Rams, drafting Marvin Mims Jr. Broncos, we got Tyreek Stevenson at 67, traded back one spot, picking up 251, a 7th round pick from the Rams that they actually just traded to the Steelers. But Keanu Benton is our 2nd pick there in the 3rd round for the Broncos, 2 defensive players needing to solidify that side of the ball. So that is our mock draft for the day. I think that probably the Raiders one was one I really liked, but I think probably the Chargers. I'm going to go with the Chargers as my number one. Chargers, the Raiders is 2nd, I think. Chiefs a close 3rd, and then the Broncos 4th because of lack of picks and just I wasn't sure what their needs were. But yeah, I think actually no, I'm going to flip it. Chiefs 1, Raiders 2, Chargers 2, Raiders 3. Raiders 1, Chiefs 2. Raiders 1, Chargers 2, Chiefs 3, and Broncos 4. That's how I'm going it. Raiders, Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos. Can't get my mind right here. So anyways, that is our AFC West mock draft for the day. And that is the show for today. So don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. FAApodcast.com is our website. Check us out on Twitter, FAA_bets as well. And we will be back next Tuesday talking XFL playoffs and USFL week 3. XFL and USFL game recaps as always. And then we will finish our mock draft series with 2 divisions instead of 1. AFC East and AFC North mock drafts will happen next Tuesday, the day before our Wednesday one and only 1st round mock draft of the year. Thank you all for watching, and you can check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. We will